Hi, folks. I'm Jimmie Ratliff with Dynamic Independence, and I'm here today with Ben Ames, who's from Samaritan Counseling and Growth Center here in Bartlesville. And so, Ben, tell me a little bit about the history of Samaritan Counseling.
Okay. So Samaritan Counseling was started in 1974 by a group of ministers from our community. There were several churches that were involved. They came together. They had been seeing folks from their church in their offices and providing just pastoral counseling to them. And it got to the point where they were seeing a lot of people, and
Right.
they really felt like they needed one single place for those folks to go and to be able to be seen. And so we were lucky enough to be gifted a house downtown that served as the center, the original first Samaritan Counseling here in downtown Bartlesville, and they were there for several years. They quickly outgrew that, at a certain point, and moved into another building. They stayed there for several years, and then in early 2010s or 2000, I guess it was early 2000s, they moved into our current location out on Madison Boulevard across from Sooner Park.
Okay, perfect. So, tell me a little bit about how that came, because you have pastors who are out providing that pastoral care you were talking about, but they weren't licensed therapists, say. They were just providing it under the auspices of the church and providing that to parishioners.
Right. They were providing that support to their parishioners in their church office, and they just really felt like it was getting to a point where that's all they were doing, and they weren't able to actually do church business and work through those things, which is okay, because it's great that those folks were going and asking for help, but it's also great that those ministers realized that they needed to kind of take some steps to help fix that. So they hired some licensed clinicians to kind of help begin that process, and so they kind of just stepped back and let them take over. They did, provide pastoral care, pastoral counseling as needed, and that's still, folks today, our ministers today still provide those supports. Our center is. We're lucky enough to have 4 licensed clinicians on board, and they are able to provide supports to folks from all walks of life and help with all situations.
Excellent. So, how did you become involved in Samaritan?
So, long story short, I was approached in 23, early 23 or late 23, I guess it was, to have a conversation about an open position that Samaritan had, and I reluctantly agreed. But after some back and forth, a couple of months, we made an agreement that I would join the organization as their first full-time non-licensed executive director. So I am not a licensed clinician, and that's not something I want to do. I enjoy being able to go and spread the mission of Samaritan and really talk to folks and kind of just be in the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that a few weeks ago you came and talked to the Samaritan group here in town, and I was a part of that, and we're very impressed with the work that Samaritan is doing. So
thank you.
We're very glad to have that in the community. So let's talk a little bit about accessibility. We deal with individuals coming in who have a wide variety of disabilities sometimes. So first question is, are your offices, is your facility accessible? And then as a second point to that, do you have specific services that you offer to individuals with disabilities?
Okay. So our services are all the same across the board.
Okay.
We provide supports. Our main thing is just being able to provide quality mental health care at an affordable rate, regardless of folks' ability to maybe access other services within the community. We want to make sure that folks are happy and healthy and are mentally well. Our center is easily accessible. We do have. I don't have an automatic door at this moment, but I am in the process of either replacing 2 of our large doors or just putting in a new system to help fix that. But I do have one entrance All of them are ground level. Every single one of them are easy to access. That's one of the things when they did the last remodel several years ago, was to make sure that there were no issues for folks, mobility issues. So we have multiple entrances where folks can come in easily.
All right. So accessibility doesn't appear to be a problem.
Accessibility is not an issue.
All right. So can you talk a little bit about the whole process of somebody coming in and becoming a new client for you? What does that first step look like? How do they reach out? And then what does that process look like?
Okay. So typically we receive new folks just through phone calls. We'll have individuals call and just want to get in to see a counselor or a therapist. And so we will send them either send them an intake packet electronically, or they can come by the office and pick one up. It's not a daunting task at all. It might seem like a lot, but it's just basically your general information, kind of what's going on, and then just a few consents. Just basically giving your permission for us to check into things and see how things are going and establish you as a new client.
Okay, perfect. So what does that time frame look like from the time they come in and say, I want to be a client and I need to see somebody, until they see somebody?
So on average right now, because I am currently hiring for potentially two clinicians, just to be able to meet the need of our community and the center. Right now we're looking at about 4 weeks to get service established, and that's to be able to come in and be seen for the intake. And then after that initial intake, it's anywhere between 3 to 4 weeks. But beyond that first actual session, we strive to have everybody scheduled every 2 weeks or whatever, or every 2 weeks or week or 3 weeks or whatever it is that individual needs. Whatever level of support that they need, we make sure that we're able to get that set.
Perfect. So how, and you said it's every couple of weeks or every week, just whenever. So it's really up to the client. And I almost said consumer because we have consumers here,
right.
But it's up to the client how often they believe that they need that care. All right.
Yeah, and one thing that I didn't mention is that we're in the process of looking at ways that we can kind of shorten that window of time between the intake and that initial or that first session. So I'm hoping that we will have that kind of that gap closed a little bit within the next few weeks.
Perfect. So is there any other additional information you want to share about Samaritan?
So Samaritan is a faith-integrated organization, or a faith-integrated counseling service. So, and what faith-integrated means, it doesn't mean just one single religion or one form of religion. It can be whatever the person needs to fill their spiritual cup. It could be having a conversation about gardening. It could be talking about what they do to calm themselves or to kind of recenter themselves or ground themselves, I should say. And that's kind of what that means. It's whatever the person needs to just feel whole. A lot of us growing up in this region are have a very strong faith background, and so a lot of us do look at a higher power as our strength and kind of what fuels us and what fills us. But some folks don't feel that way, and that's perfectly fine because there's nothing wrong with that. It's whatever the person needs and whatever the person believes, and we want to be able to support that person regardless of what it is that they need to fill that cup. So
individuals who maybe don't have a faith background, they don't need to be worried that, well, if we call Samaritan, then they're going to try to push a religion off on me or something like that. It's completely within their comfort zone and what they want.
Exactly. And that's probably, I think one of the misconceptions that I think has just, as time's gone on, that's just kind of been one of the things. And I think where that comes from is the name Samaritan. And if you look in the dictionary, the Samaritan is just one person helping another.
Yes.
It's not religious based, but I know a lot of us, like I said, growing up in this region and with faith background, we think of the Good Samaritan walking along the side of the road, right? But just as it comes down to it, it's just one person helping another person get through whatever it may be. So no, to answer that question, that there is no requirements. We're not going to talk about religion if that's something that you don't want to talk about, or your faith if you don't want to talk about it. That's perfectly fine. It is not something that we require. It's not something that there's not a prerequisite for it. It is solely the fact that the person is coming in and asking for help or wanting to work through some problems. That's what we want to do. That is what we want to do. Is we want to help folks get through whatever it is that life has thrown at them.
All right. We talked a little bit earlier too, and you had mentioned that you have the capability of doing things like maybe Zoom sessions or something. If people, maybe in the case of individuals that we serve, maybe they are not able to get to the facility, or there's some other limiting barrier that's there, or maybe they're just not comfortable being in a facility where there are other people like that. You have the option to be able to treat them to telehealth.
Yes. Yeah. So another good thing that did come out of COVID is we were able to institute or put into place telehealth. And so through our telehealth services, we're able to see individuals just through Zoom. They're able to provide that support or provide those counseling sessions to those individuals through Zoom. We have some folks that's the only way that they see their clinician, and then we have some that do kind of a hybrid. They do 50-50 maybe, but yes, it is totally an option. So it's an availability, or something that we have available to folks.
Perfect. So before we close out, anything else?
So one of the things that I know that I did mention whenever I met and presented at the Civitan is that we do accept private insurance. So private insurance, private pay, and Medicare. The only insurance that we do not take at this point is Medicaid.
Okay.
We are also a private pay agency, and then we do have, if there are maybe financial difficulties, we do have a kind of a sliding scale to where we're able to look at just kind of that financial aspect of it and see what that individual can pay to be able to receive the counseling services that they need.
Okay. So just even if people think they don't have, maybe, I don't have the money to do that, or I don't have the right insurance, they can still reach out and talk about that and see if there's something that can be.
We can have a conversation. Yep, absolutely.
All right, perfect. So you said you're on Madison. Tell us exactly where.
So we're at 245 South Madison.
Okay.
Right across the street from Sooner Park. Our telephone number is 918-336-1463, or they can find us on Facebook at Samaritan Bartlesville, or online at SamaritanBartlesville.org.
And how often are you all there?
We are there 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. From our first session starts at 9, and some nights it depends. It may be 7, it might be 8 o'clock. It just depends on what the need of the individual is.
Okay, perfect. So you make sure everybody who comes in gets the amount of time that they need. They're not rushed through things.
Certainly.
To get the treatment that they need.
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. Well, this has been Ben Ames. I'm Jimmie Ratliff. I'm with Dynamic Independence here, of course, and anytime that you all need any kind of a disability service, whether it be peer support, that we might be able to offer you, which is different than counseling services. We're not licensed counselors here, but we do offer some of that disability peer support here. Or if you need help with the independent living plan, or even if your kids have an IEP and you have questions about that, we help with all of those different things. So feel free to reach out to us too. We're at 1110 Southeast Frank Phillips Boulevard, Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. And you can reach us at 918-335-1314. So we want everybody to have a great weekend. Ben, thank you again for being here.
Thanks, Jimmie.
And we'll see you all next time.